Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how I construct my lace closure wig, and in today's video I'm going to be using 4 bundles and a closure from Ishow Human Hair company. And if you want to achieve this look, let's go ahead and get into this video. So the first thing I'll do is prep my lace closure wig with some Got To Be Free spray, and this just helps when I bleach my knots so that it doesn't get on the strands of the hair. Then I went ahead and used some BW2 bleach. I barely had any left, but I made it work, y'all. And I'm gonna go in and use some 40 volume cream developer, and I used about a cap full of that, and I pour that in and I'm gonna go ahead and mix it up. And you guys want to get a really nice consistency. You want to make sure that it's not too thick but also not too runny, so you really want that fine in between just so that you can lay it on nicely and it can apply really smooth. Alright, so now I'm finally just applying my bleach mixture on top of my lace closure, and like I said before, you want to have a nice consistency so as I'm laying it on top, it is not seeping through. A really good tip I have for beginners out there who want to bleach lace closures or lace frontals is to use cream developer, just because if you use a liquid developer it comes out super fast and a lot of mistakes can be made, especially when you're trying to get the right consistency with the mixture. So using a cream developer is just stress-free, it's a lot easier, and your mixture is prone to come out good every single time. Okay, so now that our bleach is on top of the lace closure, I'm just going to lay it down and put some foil on top of it just to help the oxidation process. And I'm going to let it sit on the closure for about 30 minutes, and I check back on it about every 10 minutes. Alrighty guys, so now that my closure is nice and bleached and my knots are looking good, I go ahead and use some Shimmer light shampoo, and that just helps to color correct that orangey brassy looking color on top of the closure, and I love how it looks afterwards. So I go ahead and put that on there, I rinse it off, and honey, I am left with scalp. You cannot tell me this is lace, okay? Alright y'all, so now that my closure is nice and rinsed, I go ahead and use a spandex dome cap, and I put that on my mannequin head, which is a size 22, and I use some T-pins, and I go ahead and I pin that wig cap down. Okay, so now I'm taking my lace closure and I'm pulling it down about 1 inch to 1.5 inches over the actual wig cap, and this just helps to ensure that you get a more natural looking hairline. And then I go ahead and take more T-pins and pin the lace closure down. Okay, so now I'm just using my spray bottle filled with water to lay down the hairs so that I can begin plucking. And as you guys can see, I'm just parting the hairs that I'm going to begin plucking on. And I go ahead and I use my tweezers and start plucking in a downward motion. Also, I go ahead and I comb through the hair as I begin plucking just so that I can see how much is coming out and so I can gauge how much more I need to be plucking. Alright y'all, so this is the final product of the side that I plucked compared to the side that I did not pluck. And y'all, this looks so much more natural, it looks sleek, and it looks so good. So I am definitely going to go ahead and pluck away those unwanted hairs on the opposite side that I did not do yet. But if you guys like the left side better than the right side, leave a comment down below and let me know if you like plucking your closures or if you like to just leave it how it is. Alrighty, so this is the final look after the closure is nice and plucked, and now we have a more natural looking hairline. Now I'm going to go ahead and clip the hair down so that we can begin the sewing process. So now I'm taking my needle and thread and being very careful to only sew through the wig cap. Guys, I am not sewing through the elastic band because if you sew through the elastic band, your wig is not going to fit and you're going to be highly upset, like how I once was when you take the time to create a wig and you put it on and your wig doesn't fit. So make sure to only sew through the cap. So a really good tip that has helped me when I do my lace closure wigs is to sew down the lace closure on one side, knot it, and then cut the thread and do the same exact thing on the opposite side. And what that does is just creates equal tension and it helps the lace closure to lay super flat and it makes it look really natural. And this is me just doing the same thing that I was talking about before, going on the opposite side and sewing it down. Once again, making sure that I do not sew through the elastic band, but only sewing through the cap. But yeah, guys, so I'm just going ahead and sewing it down, and it's going to create equal tension, and it's going to make sure that my closure is nice and flat and not bulky. Throughout the process of me sewing down this lace closure wig, you might be able to see me tugging on it just a little bit, and that's because, like I said before, we want to stretch it just so that it can lay flat, because this is supposed to lay flat. It's not supposed to look like a hat, girl. When you put it on, you want to make sure that it's not bulky. I cannot repeat this enough. You really want to make sure that you're laying this closure down, girl, because it's supposed to look like it's growing out your scalp. Alright, so now I'm gonna go ahead and sew down my first bundle, and I have 4 bundles in the closure. I have 2 24-inch bundles, 2 26-inch bundles, and a 20-inch closure. So I'm just starting with my longest length bundle and I'm sewing that across. So now I just went ahead and I speeded up this process, and now we are on to our second bundle. I'm doing the same exact thing that I did with the first one, and I'm just going to go ahead and sew it across. So as I'm stitching the wefts onto the wig cap, I am making sure that I'm keeping the bundles pretty close on top of each other, and that's because I know that I have 4 bundles and I want to be able to fit them all onto this wig cap. So I want to make it nice and full, and I want to go ahead and try to get in as much hair as I can. As you guys can see, I'm folding my wefts every single time that I am starting to sew on a new track, and I like this method because it just helps with less shedding, and if you sew it down really flat, you get the same results as if you were to cut your wefts. So I think this is a better method, and it really works well for me. So one thing that I have noticed throughout the video, guys, is that I have been going under and over the wefts as I am stitching them down, but for video purposes I had to maneuver my way throughout the video to get good angles. So on a normal basis I just sew under the wefts, and if you guys want to use that method, go right ahead. Now finally we are on the last bundle. Okay, all this hard work is finally coming to an end, guys. So I'm just going ahead and doing the same exact things that I did for the other 3 bundles, and I'm just going to continue stitching them down and sewing the wefts across. Alright, so now I'm actually going to go ahead and cut that extra piece of hair off of the last bundle, and I'm going to use that on top of the wig cap because there was a little piece showing, so I just went ahead, stitched it down, and made it fuller. Okay, so we are finally done with the stitching process, and I'm going ahead and I'm using my electric hot comb. You can get these from your local beauty supply. I got mine for about $20, and it makes much of a difference, y'all. Like, this hot comb makes the hair look so much more natural, and it just really lays the hair down straight. Now, I did flat iron this hair off camera, but this is the final look. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for the next video.